Hello and welcome to Raising Anchor, your podcast and source for all things Rhode Island FC. I'm your host, Matt Entrican, and joining me today is the one and only Rhode Island FC defender, Dani Rovira. Dani, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt, for having me. Excited to be here and let's get it going.
The pleasure is all mine, my friend. You have been someone that we have been wanting to talk to for quite a while. Beginning early parts of the season, unavailable due to some injuries, which I'm sure we're going to talk about at length and kind of how that has shaped your career and your season so far here with Rhode Island FC. But always like to start at the beginning and ask you first and foremost, how has your time been so far here in the Ocean State? How have you been adjusting? I know that you are no stranger to New England, and we're going to get into that. You've been here for quite a while, so maybe this is a homecoming of sorts?
Yes, coming to Rhode Island, it was very special to me, being able to come closer to a place where I went to school and a lot of familiar faces here. So it was special to come, and it has been amazing. It has been obviously I had some thoughts of how could it be, but the way it's coming out, it's been very enjoyable. It's been as you mentioned, a tough beginning with the injuries, but I think it's part of everything we have to live every day. And yeah, it's been 9 months of a lot of learning, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Any favorite sights or bites or moments you've experienced so far here in the Ocean State, either on or off the pitch?
It has to be, I mean, going to the stadium every day, seeing it from the bridge, seeing it from the field, going up the stands and looking at it from there, just such a nice view to understand that that's home, that's where we represent, and that's where we get to play every Saturday. So.
I love it. So then let's dive right into your life, basically, and your career up till this point. Got to start with the big moment. You're originally a native of Colombia, and you make the move to come to the United States. What motivated that in the first place? And it wasn't just you; it was you and your family, right? Coming across from Colombia now into America. What motivated that?
Yes, I was born in Bogota, Colombia, and it first started when I was able to finish high school around 16 years old, so it was a bit younger than usual there. And talking with my parents, my brothers, and just trying to explore something different, where at first I could at least come and learn a language and kind of just see what opportunities at that age. I thought I could wait a couple years before starting college, so that was mainly part of the choice, just experience something different. We thought it was the right age. My parents and my family overall supported me so much through it, and with that, those first couple of years that were very, very hard. Every year has been hard, but to begin with something that you kind of don't know what to expect or how things would work, it was interesting. But moving here was very, very, yeah. I mean, one of the best decisions I think I've in my life, and every day surprises me with more and more and more. So coming from Colombia has been special. Coming to a new country, new culture, uh, but I have been blessed to feel welcome where I've been. So
What do you remember most about the early days, right as you transition into this country you've never been a part of? We're going to talk about the language here in a minute, but what were those early days adjusting to your new life?
it was so much fun because at first it was everything you see in US is the movies and buildings and a lot of things that I wasn't used to in Colombia. So being able to take the train and then someone's coming by to get my ticket and different things, that it was just a fun experience overall to say, wow, I'm living through it. And I would say that and the food, I mean, the food is different, but restaurants, so many things that I think it's little things that we don't really take accountability when we're just every day doing the same thing or same places, and then just everything smells or smell of places, and more than anything, I came in December, so the snow and the winter is what really boom gave me a welcome.
A lot of players had said that they adjust very either easily or very difficult to that colder weather climate. You've been everywhere from New York to as north as Vermont and Burlington. Have you adjusted to the cold? I mean, we were kind of talking before we started recording that we're now entering that colder part of fall. How did you adjust?
Yes, definitely going to Vermont was another step where, wow, very cold weather, but again, the people around the place made it just feel nice, made help enjoy it, and yeah, I mean, as the amount of times I slipped, it was it was crazy, and so after 2 years, I actually decided, you know what, I need a great pair of boots. I got them, and since then, I said, okay, now I can do this. The right jacket, the right boots, you could get through it.
It's the equipment you bring that makes you successful for the day, right? So then I want to ask what I haven't heard you say anything about yet is your love of the game. And one of the hardest things in doing some research of you is I know kind of everything that happened once you got stateside, but not a lot is known about the Dani Rovira from your time in Colombia. Was soccer something that brought you over as well, or was that just an additional add-on to you being able to do that at a later date?
So soccer in Colombia, we call it football. It just has something that has been part of my life since growing up. I have two brothers, one older and one younger, and it has since I remember when I was 3, 4 years old, just always kicking a ball with them, playing with them, competing, and just you go outside and there's people already playing. So it was always about yeah, I'll say my weekends with my family was, well, we go and we have 3 games to watch because he was each one of us. So if I wasn't playing, I was supporting my brother. So even watching and learning about the game, um, something as you mentioned, I mean in South America and in Colombia is big. The love for the game and the support. So I've had it my whole life, played the whole time, and yeah, part of when I was moving here, it was about maybe that finding maybe myself or maybe I can even play there and see what opportunities with school with different things that could open up. But it was more of the experience of coming to a new country and trying to develop myself as a person, living away from my family, which it's something I had never done before, and I was very, very close to my family. So that was also hard to be alone through some holidays sometimes, and part of everything that comes with it.
Did you have a working knowledge of the soccer ecosystem ahead of you moving here, or was that something you decided you were going to learn along the way?
I had no clue. I just I knew there would be there sh I always thought as Colombia, say, hey, there should be fields. I should be able to go and maybe some people play with them and kind of like start from there. So yeah, starting with that, someone I yeah, when I got here, someone from church was the first one to say, hey, I know a club in Boston. They train here. FC Blazers is the name. So I remember that was my first ever team that I trained with and tried out and kind of open up all my doors.
So doors are opening, but I know that there were several obstacles in your path. Your career to professional is not an easy one compared to many others on that similar journey. First, I want to talk about that language barrier we kind of mentioned at the beginning here. I found out that when you first got here, English wasn't exactly you didn't have a good command of it yet. You're doing great now, but walk us through what was that like back in the day. Obviously it must have been so difficult to barely be able to speak the language in a sport, a team game, especially too, not just your life, but where you have to be able to communicate with your teammates. How did you overcome that?
So yeah, coming here, even I remember this first weeks going to a restaurant and just having to point at first look at just pictures. I cannot read like what it is. So looking at pictures and just ordering some things and oh, the picture was here and I ordered something from here. So what I got on my plate, like I don't know what it is. So made me try different foods. Uh, but the same way as you mentioned, actually, I think the soccer, the team that I first came with and the people I met through soccer helped me to maybe kind of find myself to express what I needed with moves with hey, and they say, oh, thirsty. And I was like, I would not forget that one because I will need it often. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I was starting to feel you hear me say, see, and then just like small, more, not really English words, but just the communication. I think when you want to be heard, you find a way to connect with your teammates, or and it's nice when they are really trying hard to not only listen to me but also help me. Hey, this is how you say that, or this is how kind of to help me guide. So that I think it helped me the most to have that support from my teammates, from those coaches, and even parents back then that were also always traveling with the guys and stuff. So that was really helpful with my language because the next 2 3 months were very very hard, and I would try to come home. My parents, oh, how's English going? I was, oh yeah, but like no, it wasn't going well. So it was very interesting. It was hard, but I'm very glad it went that way because it really taught me a lot of lessons.
Are there any tips and tricks to people that want to be able? I myself do not have the ability to speak more than one language yet. My Duolingo skills are improving, but they're not quite there. Do you have any tips or tricks for someone that needs to, quickly and rapidly learn another language?
I would definitely say music, knowing that certain songs you would hear like more a whole phrase instead of thinking of word by word of what you want to say. So some songs is like, whoa, a whole sentence, like, I could say that all. So and I think music really uh helped me just listening music and songs, and sometimes I'll be walking saying things like, well, is that a song? And I just learning. So I think music really helped me and kind of open up my mind to new phrases, words, and yeah, that helped.
I've got a few friends that have come along on a similar journey, English as a second language, and there have been some really funny moments in those translation issues. You kind of just hinted to one a second ago. What's been your favorite or most memorable, lost in translation where you attempted to say something and you didn't quite stick the landing and it was just a laughable moment?
It was actually fun. I mean, I don't even remember much, but I just remember when I first came, I was in taking some English second language classes, and I remember a friend that had just came around the same time as me, but from Morocco, and he knew no English or Spanish, and I knew no other language, and we look at each other, and I remember trying to say something, and we just started moving and this and that, and I knew that he didn't understand anything I said, and we just laughed and went to get a drink. So I just will never forget that conversation that like we were moving, we were saying, and I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work. And so there was not really words, but that connection just made us laugh, and I've known him since now for now over 10 years. So it has been like that. That connection started there.
Who's got the better English now, you or him?
I would say me. I would say me. But I'm sure he wouldn't agree with that.
So let's continue on your journey. You come to the States, you're now at FC Blaze, right? And then suddenly this opportunity finds itself for you where you get to try out for the Revolution Academy. You get into the U18s. I think it was one of a handful of hundreds of applicants and walk-ons and trialists. How do you get, Dani, from one moment you're in Colombia, the next year in America, and then the next year in Major League Soccer, a place that few get to get into, and you're inside one of their academy systems, potentially going to be playing at the highest level within the American pyramid?
Um, Part of me is something that has always been who I am is my faith. I My faith in God is everything. I've always said that as long as you believe and have faith in things that could happen, and you do the things that you are in control of, things will come. And so, yeah, I mean, coming here and first to get to FC Blazers was through church. So someone I knew had played for the team, and they train at BU, Boston University. So I was able to go train there and see, wow, this is what a university looks like. This is just their field. This is things. And training with them, we played a tournament, we won it, and coming back was like, wow, there's these tryouts for. I knew about the New England Revolution at that point. I think Juan Agudelo played for them, who was a Colombian, so I knew of him. Um, so I kind of had an idea of that, and then when I heard about their academy tryouts, it was like, wow, like that's a big opportunity, and again, not knowing like, oh, I could be me, just more like that's something I would want to try, and just to see where I'm at as myself. Just sometimes it's not really of yeah, I would love to make the team, but it's like let's see where I'm at. Just being from a different country, the moment, and as you mentioned, it wasn't easy. I had to take two buses, one train, and then an hour and a half drive to get to Gillette Stadium. So imagine the way back. So it was.
So wait, hold on, time out. That's a true story because I heard that you were taking 3 hours each way to just get to academy level practices and training sessions. So you were commuting across public and private for 6 hours a day just to be able to play soccer?
With traffic around the time, yeah, almost. So it wasn't maybe it wasn't as fun, but I was all I could think is, well, I'm excited to get there and train and enjoy the moment. I mean, you walk in and it's you're training at Gillette Stadium. So for me, just the seats, all these things, deleted the past 2 hours and a half on a bus and stuff. So it wasn't easy, but I think it was efforts that at that point with my dad, he would take the train or the ride with me. So like he would be with me and we'll talk about how like you say all this effort and stuff will teach you a lot. And at that moment, I didn't even understand how much until now. So that was part of it. Yeah, some long rides and a couple months in when I was with them, I was able to find another guy. His name is Santi, who was from Colombia and was part of the academy and lived closer to where I was in Riviera, which is in Massachusetts. So he started getting rides with him some days, and that helped. But yeah, it was still a long trip to just train,
What
which then
motivates you to do that
uh-huh.
kind of grind?
So here it is. So for example, not everything looked nice and it was wow enjoyable. They chose me for the team. Wow, this like all right, I will have to find a way to make this commute enjoyable and things. And a week after they said, hey, you can be with us. You cannot play because we have to do a FIFA process to kind of confirm your age and your stuff. And I said, uh, and it was almost 6 months and a half that I couldn't play a game. So I was making all this commutes and stuff just to train. Um, so that made it a little harder because I was like, wow, it's like I can't really, play and things, and so that made it very hard for me to just started to say, okay, yeah, it's gonna be harder than what I thought. No, it wasn't just the tryouts and things. So that happened, but at that point, Connor Smith was actually my assistant coach with the Revs Academy. So I remember, the with my little English at that point, still trying to communicate with it, communicate with them and everything, and him saying, hey, like, like there's nothing we can really do for that process. It's just a FIFA process. We have to wait, but keep training. It's opportunity for you to keep getting better. It's about the long term, more than just for these next couple months. So just the support from them, from my teammates, and again, just enjoying the moment of they give me all this gear from the New England Revolution, and it just felt like wow, like this is something that I wasn't expecting when I first came. So I was already grateful for that, and I said, and I think I'm hungry for more. So I would say that's what kept me going.
Speaking of gear, I have a question. A listener actually asked me to directly ask you this. He's basically on a mission to know from anyone from the former Revs teams or academies, are you a fan more of the original crayon flag and the equipment you would have gotten back then, or do you like the newer circle logo?
I don't mind the new one, but again, I mean, it was so nice to get all that gear from the old one that, like, for me, I would stay with the old one. Yeah, the original one.
So getting into your time with the academy, like you hinted at, you play under then assistant coach Cano Smith. I think Carl Spratty was there as well at the time. And I don't think enough people know this about you, Danny, but you are amongst a long list of RIFC/Revolution alumni. You played alongside Isaac Enking, Amos Shapiro Thompson, Joe Brito, and Kevin Vang. What's it like coming back in? Is it a reunion of sorts as you've now been here in 2025 with this team? Is it the band back together, so to speak?
It definitely is special. I mean, uh, even when watching them last year and I see how the team is coming up and all these guys going with it, it's nice to see that, guys that I grew up training with and see how hard they worked and to achieve their things. It's paying out and all that. So it was nice seeing them already. And then when I got the opportunity and everything in talks to come here, it was even better to know that wow, it wasn't just like, oh, it's not only some guys that I play in Pittsburgh as well with that I know, but these guys that have known me for now about almost 10 years. And to come with them, it's definitely special. It makes it very nice to walk in the locker room and just know that, wow, I've known you for that long, and it's very nice. So that's it is
Any
very
Any embarrassing stories that you would have that, Isaac or Amos or Joe wouldn't want you to share in a public space like a podcast right now?
No, I mean you leave. I think at that age you leave so many moments where not only everything is fun, but everything it really is about wow, like, we're making a trip to the Florida Cup and then I'm there and we're all 15, 16 years old and just seeing them play and then wow, you guys are winning, you're losing, but then after we all go to a dinner and then things happen and the moment I feel all that builds up to more towards that connection on the pitch and that kind of like it's more than just a friendship and yeah, and it's very, very nice.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to play a game here now
Mm-hmm.
between you and I. And I'm going to give you 6 moments in your career. And you
Okay.
get one chance as I list them out to rank them 1 through 6, with 1 being the best moment in your career and 6 being the 6th best. You don't get to take it back. So once you put it in, it's locked there. And you don't know these ahead of time. So be
Okay.
careful how you do this. Okay. You ready
All
for
right.
this?
Let's see if you get the number one. I already know it. Let's see it.
No, I'm just going to list off all 6, and then you're going to tell me where they go in this for yourself.
Okay.
Is that,
Okay.
oh, you got it? Okay, here we go.
Let's do that.
So the first one that I have here, the time where you got to train against Lionel Messi for the Copa America in 2016, where do you rank that 1 through 6?
Not knowing the other ones. Yeah, no, that's I'll say two.
2. Okay, we
Two.
got that down as 2. Your next one, your professional debut with the Riverhounds against the Dayton Dutch Lions during the Open Cup in 2019.
I'll say three.
Okay.
Three.
Next one, helping the Catamounts win the regular season in your first year with the University of Vermont in 2017.
We'll put that five because I wasn't able to play the last game. So they're celebrating and I was watching it. So that one hurt a little bit. But yeah, we got through it.
Scoring your first professional goal against Memphis 901, almost the 1,000th goal in Pittsburgh's history, in a come from behind win back in 2023.
Yeah, that's one.
That's 1. Okay.
Yes.
Winning Supporter Shield in 2023 with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's the four left, I think. Fourth
You
place.
only
Yeah.
you only got
Yes.
number 6 left now, and this is an awkward one. But earning your first assist of your 2024 campaign, getting USL Team of the Week honors as your assist went to Bradley Sample for his goal of the week against which team, Danny? Which team did that happen against?
Rhode Island FC last year. Yeah, we'll put a six in. Yeah, it's fair. Six. One last.
Perfect. I was worried you would have saved that for number 1 because you didn't know it was coming, and then that would have been a terrible experience. Does that feel right? Would you want to move anything up or down the table there?
No, that feels right, I think.
Is there a big moment in your soccer career that I missed going back and doing some homework?
Yes, I after 2016 when I went with when I trained with Argentina, that next February in preseason, I actually went to preseason with the first team of the refs. And yeah, I got to scrimmage against Malmo and another team, so I played. So that was a very, very special, I would say, moment for me to be able to, after being in the academy and stuff for many years, to be able to just be in a whole preseason with the first team. I would say maybe that one.
Love it. I love it. I'll make sure for the next time we play this game, we'll do it all over again.
I'll be
But
ready as well now.
so getting into your career past the University of Vermont, you sign your first professional contract with the Riverhounds. It's a place, and I don't know if you've paid attention to this, Danny. You end up staying for 6 years. Obviously, you know that, over 7,000 minutes. But I don't feel like there's many players that have that long of tenure in the USL Championship, let alone at one single team in the entirety of that time. Can you walk us through first, how did you end up with Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds? And how did you end up becoming this staple within the team for as long as you have?
Okay, being in Vermont in school, obviously that opened up, first of all, just playing bigger schools and being able to compete with at a higher level. That it's where I first met my agent. He watched me play actually against UMass Lowell. Uh, I did a great game. Things went very well, and I remember him talking to me and saying, "Hey, I see opening up some doors for you," and I was like, "Yeah, sounds amazing, but I got class tomorrow." I was locked in there. Hey, I got school. I got things to do, and I remember him. The season ended, and then in February, a couple days before school started again, he just reached out to me and said, "Hey, there's some some opportunities for a team that's looking someone in, I would say, a newer position. I used to be a midfielder by then in college, so I say it's looking for more of like a wing back, and they like your profile." And when I heard that call, I just like, wait a second, like I do have class tomorrow, but let me say it again. And just he mentioned it. He said, obviously it's an opportunity for you to see what it's like, and them to see you, and that's it. You come back to school, and we keep going from there. And yeah, I had to make some calls with the coach from Vermont who supported me to the moment and stuff. And most of it, I call my parents and I say, hey, I'm in school, everything, but there's this opportunity, and hearing their support and saying, hey, it's something that you've always dreamed with, and it's an opportunity that you don't get often. So after conversations with them and everything, I was like, all right, let's try it out. And so I flew to Pittsburgh, and I was there maybe for a week and a half. Uh, Obviously, every day you close your eyes. For me, I pray. I say, hey, I hope not only that I do good, but that I'm healthy, that things go well, and that I'm able to show who I am on the field and off the pitch. Because I think being a professional, it's a lot more than on the field. And going to Pittsburgh and seeing how the standard of the players, how things were. I remember that first day I walked in, and then so when I was on my way there to Pittsburgh, I remember looking up like the players, and I was like, I want to know like who it is or stuff. And I said, this guy, I said, wow, this guy has been there for 5 years, Kevin Kurt. And I was like, wow, that must be nice. And I remember when I walked in the locker room, I was one of the first ones, and he was already there. And he was just relaxed, hanging out. And I was like, I went to say hi to him, and I was like, wow, you've been here 5 years. And so just hearing that was already almost like a wow, it's possible. Um, and meeting him, and I was like, all right. And obviously, I started training, things went well. I got offered a contract, and yeah, after a couple of weeks, I was part of the team, and so that's kind of how I got to Pittsburgh. Um, that first year, we also won the regular season for the Eastern Conference, which he was wow. I mean, Nashville was still in the league. There were so many teams. He was. I mean, to win the regular season on my first year, it was wow. It was very amazing to that. So that kind of showed me, wow, like this is a top team. This is where I would want to be for longer, but it won't work until I work. So kind of obviously I also say I haven't had much. It's coming to the ends of the year. There's still a couple months, and it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. What are things, and then so I worried about making sure I was ready, training and doing what's in front of me, what I can control. And boom, year two, they said, okay, we'll take you back. Things happened. I was able to actually, that was the first time I was able to fly back to Colombia after being a couple years in this country. So that off season kind of, I get home and I see my family and enjoy with them, kind of give me so much spark in life to let's go back in and like let's do it. And so that's something that I have done every year since my off season. I go to Colombia and I just feel renewed coming back from just eating there, enjoying with my family, and I come back and I feel like again it just revives me, and it's very enjoyable. So that happened, and boom, yeah, second year again. I mean, I think Pittsburgh is a top team where I enjoyed a lot, and more than anything, I met so many great guys that would come in the locker room and made the atmosphere very welcoming, very nice, and very tough because every day was a competition with everyone. So that was enjoyable. And then there come some hard times with COVID, with how things work and how the season uh, played out. So that didn't feel maybe like that year didn't. I feel like it didn't really count towards soccer because how they divided the games and stuff. So and yeah, coming back, I got the opportunity to go back there to Pittsburgh for 2 more years, and then I said, "Wow, I'm at five. I'm where the guy that I talked to." So
You're the old
he
man at this point.
yes, and I was like, wow, and so that was very enjoyable because then the player I told you was there 5 years. He retired that second year, but he's been with the academy. So he came up now to me to the locker and said, hey, remember when you told me, wow, you've been here for 5 years? There you are. So I remember that conversation because it was very nice to know. He's like, remember all of these things that you'd ask me, we talked. Now it's you. You're the one obviously showing like the guys that are coming new what it's like, what it's been, and how it should be. So I learned a lot, and I was able to share that with the guys that came on, and yeah, and I'm thankful for my time there. Everything was great, but also I was so excited for a new opportunity, and the way we talk. I mean, being in Rhode Island, coming back closer to Massachusetts with friends and players that I know, and it just made things so much uh so much more enjoyable with how everything was gonna come, and I mean, and then I get here and things is just then you see take a look at the stadium and wow, and the community and places that I've gone, and the people that I meet at every game or after training or around. It's just so welcoming. It feels like home, and yeah, it's just wow, very enjoyable.
So I want to ask two things about Pittsburgh before we move on to Rhode Island. One, Bob Lilly is known as one of the greats amongst American coaches. He's people will describe the style of play that he has or commands his team to play as a defensive first, really physical, sometimes tough and gritty, sometimes ugly version of soccer where it's low scoring affairs, but it's always defense first. As a wingback, a converted wingback at that, what was Bob Lilly's instructions for you having to be in one of them? I mean, every important role exists within the starting 11, but more so even then on the defensive side of things. What were Bob Lilly's expectations and instructions for you that kind of maybe still resonate with you today?
He's someone that, as you mentioned, he's very tough, but he's also really he focuses on the little details. He really thinks that small details is what actually win games when you make sure everything is done right. And yes, I mean, as a wing back, it was always really about he was like, you're a defender first, but if you don't get enough crosses and high enough to support the attack, then it's not enough for me. So um, kind of he was direct with what he wanted, what he expected, and with me it was maybe a little different because maybe that first year, obviously he would give me directions and all this with that position. But after my second year, he started trying with me different things where I had a couple games where just had a min mark a player, and he was like, "You staying with him, like, that's it. That's all I want you to do." And then so in the game, I'm like, I'm marking somebody. We win the ball. He's staying offsides. I'm just like, right, I'm moving on the line. He's like, no, go back. And I was just like, okay, but then I started learning that the little things he knew exactly what it took to win, and and as a player, I think you start learning that it's not about me, it's not about how I look, it's not about my stats, it's about what can I do to help the team win. And so the last game actually that I had to mark somebody was, and I think it was quarterfinals for round of eight in the US Open Cup. We play Cincinnati in FC Cincinnati in their stadium, and he goes, "All right, you're gonna mark Lucho Acosta," and it was the year when he won MVP, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Me, like just mark him," and I'm like, "This guy, like." So that was the time. Like again, tough challenges that I like. That if he puts me in that is because he trusts what I can do, and and so from there, like we had so many moments where he say, "I want you to do this specific. We have the ball. I want you to go here or this." Like certain things that I was like, okay, like if that's what it is, and it was very nice to see how it played out and how most of the time it worked, and so that relationship throughout the years just kept growing, and I'll say, hey, like I don't think about this, and hearing his feedback, and it was nice to hear like how things worked before, how they have changed, what to adjust, and so that was very enjoyable to not only play for someone that has won so much, but learn from him as much as I did in those 6 years.
In those 6 years, I think that's the most time you've spent in one place so far in your time in the States, right? That would be, yeah.
Yes.
And so I remember reading an article about how the team, the city, and the community often talked about not just your performance on the pitch, but all the things that you did for the locker room as a glue guy, having been there for so long. And then also, though, in the community, Could you share the story about your time with Casa San Jose? First, it feels like maybe you kind of relied on them as a community outreach for yourself, and then really kind of put back into that program. Could you kind of expand upon what that meant to you, especially as you mentioned with your whole family being so far away? What was the importance of that for you?
Well, it was it was at first being with, obviously, just focus on playing and everything. I remember being alone so much for a certain amount of times, and I was like, okay, like I came from Colombia. I've gone things that I really wish to play soccer, to do these things, but I'm also alone, and all I wanted to accomplish all this while being with my family and friends and stuff. So being in Pittsburgh, I remember I was like, all right, let's look up like how can I share with people that have closer dreams like me and things. And the first time I heard of Casa San Jose, it's a community where they receive uh, kids who, by different type of problems, their parents are not in the country, so they're pretty much alone, and kind of they stay there, they live there, they go to school around there, and they all stay together. And so for me, the first time when I heard of that, I decided to go with one of my teammates. Hey, let's go visit them. Let's go just see what's around. And we didn't go as players of the team. It's nothing. We just walked in and say, hey, we just want to say hi to the kids. I think it's more important to get to meet the person and the people. And so when we walked in, I remember we played with the kids and stuff. And again, all of them spoke Spanish and some Portuguese, so it was easier for me to communicate with them. I played some cards, laugh, and that's it. I remember I talked to the one of the people taking care of them, and I said, "Hey, now that I know they kind of like soccer, like I'll come by this week and I'll drop off some tickets." And I remember, I don't think the kids obviously didn't know what was going on. I came on that week, gave them, and then in Pittsburgh they do something at the end of every game, which is that everyone in the stadium gets to come on the field for 8 minutes, and all the players get to sign autographs, and the kids are running around and playing. And I just remember after that game that weekend, the game finished, we win, and then I just remember I have the picture of like 20 of those kids all came and like, oh, you remember me? Like you were playing with me. Why you never told me you played soccer for the Riverhounds? Blah blah blah. And seeing, and I was like, because it didn't matter. I was somebody that came to meet you, to play with you, and to show you that if if you smile at life, things will happen, and luck will come with, I think. So and that was fun, and that was kind of my first interaction with them. And then from there I was like, obviously understanding that first that I was alone in some holidays, I said, well, now I got people that I know would be almost in that same position, and I can, sometimes I would bring gifts, or I wouldn't bring much, and sometimes I would bring cleats, and then we'll do different things. I think that was the best part for them. It wasn't about, a lot of things to bring, but just actually spending time with them, and enjoyable time, not really making them do things or anything, but playing around. And so that connection was very nice because I got to bring different of my teammates to kind of meet them as well, and they would come to some games, and it made their lives better now that it's been almost full 7 years since I met some of those kids, to see that now some of them are finishing college, finishing things that when I met them, they had no goals, they had no things. It has been very, very special for me because um, just the reward of sharing my happiness, and my, I would say my, yeah, the person I am. Just I like to enjoy a good time, but also just be grateful for life and everything we get around us.
You mentioned faith, you mentioned family, you mentioned culture, and like I think not of that world, but I look how I've seen that here at Rhode Island FC with Defiant 1636, with that Barra culture, the Latin American influence. How was that something as you transitioned into Rhode Island FC that was a very welcoming thing to see? Not many supporter groups, especially within New England, really support a Latin American based experience. Was that a welcoming sight?
That was something amazing that I didn't expect. Uh, and wow, I mean, I just remember the home opener, especially, and just hearing him sing in Spanish, and I was like, "This is nice. Like this is just vamos. Like let's go." And going around, and when I was out, just coming by and say, "Hey, like to meet some of M&A. I love the energy. I love everything. It's something that I didn't really experience much in Pittsburgh, and really, really loved it. again, the language Spanish just makes it feels like home.
So let's get into this now time with Rhode Island FC. I normally ask players, how did they get connected to the project? But I mean, between your relationships with the coaching staff, all of the players, it felt like in terms of connections and who would have recommended this club to you, that feels like a no-brainer. So what actually helped make the move and the transition from this journey, this career at Pittsburgh to Rhode Island FC, and how did that all come to be?
Well, I think it starts with the fact that obviously as a player, I think I wanna get better. I wanna prove myself that there's always space to improve. There's always something to do, and I think in my 6 years in Pittsburgh, it was something that I was able to reach some really high standards that I kind of got myself to be, hey, this is what it should be. This is how it could be, and and then I mean the standard that the team set last year, it's enough. I think for here, it's not only the trophies that are lifted, but the mentality when you see, going on the road and finding a way to win games, uh, going to some very tough places to play in this league and getting that done in the playoffs. I don't think any team does it. Um, and so, yeah, when you think about it, it's a place where say I would like to be there. I would like to come and more than anything, just come in and help the team get better. Sometimes um, I think for this game, obviously I mean the rosters are big. There's a lot of players, staff, and that makes a team. And I think when you have a lot of that from every single corner that adds to the table, it really brings things better. Um, and so yeah, for me it was a challenge, but a challenge that I was more than excited to come and still not only represent a lot of Colombians or Latinos, but to make sure I came here and brought what I could to the table and push everyone around me.
Agreed. And, I think of that initial reunion, we talked about the New England side of it, but there's another part of that reunion existing within the Pittsburgh Riverhounds alumni. I think how Chico and Mark Ibarra joined the squad the year before, and it's a role reversal, right? You were the old man on the Riverhounds. Now they beat you by a year, joining in this second season here. How was the initial, let's call it, reintroduction as a group? Were there antics? Were there shenanigans? Did they make you go through a rite of passage when you rejoined with them here on this RIFC squad?
Yeah, I mean them two were almost the first two people to reach back to me once things were rolling here, and obviously to welcome me to anything they could help me with and stuff. And I think that's so special because not only they were my teammates, but they were really, really my friends. And I mean, I spent 3 years with Chico in Pittsburgh and two with Mark. And as I mentioned, for us, the locker room is important. Everyone has to not only respect, but really appreciate everything you do for me because I'll do it for you on the field as well. So to just hear from them and laugh, and it was enjoyable. More as a whole team that is, there's always jokes, Pittsburgh, oh, there's that. And so yeah.
You guys have like a little click whenever you need to form up. You've got the "this is how we did it in Pittsburgh" vibe.
Nah, no, I mean, all that is it's just jokes. Everywhere is different, and I think we're all three are grateful of the time there. But here, it's that's the beautiful part of it. We're competitors. We all want to be here, and we all want to represent where we're at. So it's more of that.
So you're signed with the club. Everyone's excited. We have a true right wing back, a true right back coming to the squad. Steven Turnbull departs right into the beginning of things. So you're the only positional defender that we have on the roster, expecting big things out of you. And then the worst case scenario, you're sidelined with an injury, a rough stretch, a long period of time. I didn't realize, Danny, how long you've been out. You weren't available to return to matches until June 14th, missing 18-ish regular season games. Walk us through the mental and physical adjustments that you had to go from, again, 7,000 minutes with Pittsburgh down to you're going to miss the first half of a season at least with this injury. Walk us through what happened. Walk us through what you were going through.
Well, mentally, to be honest with you, it was some of the hardest time I've had in my career. Um, I've always believed that anything that comes is because it's for you, not to you. And it was hard to understand that with this one because I'm going to preseason. Obviously I had never even traveled for preseason in my career, and in here we go to IMG, a beautiful fields training, and then Bermuda. I get to meet the country, train there and stuff, and I'm like, wow, like this is where I want to be. This is how I want to be. Things are rolling. Getting to meet the teammates, getting to enjoy with them, and it kind of prepared my mind, my body, everything for it, and then we come back to Rhode Island, and the first day at the stadium, see like we had seen a couple weeks prior, like, oh, this is wow, and then it's not even done, and then that first day to be finally there and then get injured there was extremely hard to, not really a contact injury, so is hard, and I've never been that long or had a bigger injury like that in my career, so kind of really hit me hard, and it was very tough, but hey, the support of the coaches, the trainers, my teammates every morning coming to say, hey, like things will be better, like we can't wait to have you, and things was tough, but again, with that support that I received from them, really pushed me to, okay, I'll keep working. Then and then yeah, then it was very hard. It was very hard, but it's part of the game, and it's part of part of another learning lesson of how things went and how things are going, and now I'm able to be ready to train. I'm full in things, and yes, I've always said I'm training, I'm preparing, and I'm ready for my opportunity. I think as a team, we're all everyone has worked so hard for so many things in their lives, and that's what not only gets us together but pushes each other to know that I can push the best of your abilities if you push mine. So yeah, I mean, seeing all these things where like, I'm coming in the team, these guys are leaving, things like, wow, like I don't really know what to expect, but I'm excited to give my best. And then so that was very hard to do and with the injury, but learn a lot, and I'm just thankful now to be healthy and do what I can do.
Was it one of those types of injuries where you get cleared by the physios and the medical team, but it takes you a little bit longer to get full confidence, full range of motion, full activity again for yourself mentally? Or was it the other way where it's like, my body feels good, I'm ready to go, but I'm not getting cleared by the medical team just yet, and you're just chomping at the bit, as they say, to just get out there? Which version of that did you experience?
So it was a little bit of both because at first, obviously, I think I got the rest. I was glad to know that I wasn't a surgery, so I just got obviously I did the resting, which was extremely hard part to, you get there, you change, you can't really do any lift. You go outside and then you watch them pass the ball, play, laugh together, and train. And I'm just like, wow, I can't wait to touch the ball. But my body's not really ready for that. Um, and then waiting, then when I'm clear, then I come back and then I heard it again, which maybe I was too excited then to after all this time. So I was doing they give me the green light to start doing some things. I'm doing it myself, like I think I even posted a video on social media where I was just went in the field and training. I was like, all right, like I'm training, I'm doing what I can. And then boom, come back and then I heard it again. So that was even harder to know, all right, maybe after talks with doc staff, maybe I did too much, too excited. We not sure exactly what it was, but they're here with me. Then we go through a process of recovery with now, right? We'll do an injection, we'll do things. So mentally and physically was very, very hard. But I'm just blessed and thankful that now I'm able to be on the field.
So speaking of the field, your first match in club history for you, for the club, there's a big record on the day. You come into the game in, it's the end of minutes and it's North Carolina FC. It's a draw, it's a tied game, and you sub on, and then it happens. We get a penalty in deep into stoppage time. Maxi converts the first penalty, and we get the first win in club history. The stadium to that point had not yet experienced, in front of, for home fans, we had not yet seen a win yet. You're here, you're there on the pitch, you just got on. What was that like for you emotionally? Were you prepared for the pressure that was relieved by 10,000 fans desperately wanting to see that victory at Centerville Bank Stadium?
It was definitely a special moment. Obviously, all of us in the locker room knew that we were looking for that win. We knew that he was coming. We knew that it wasn't going to be easy. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think it starts in training. I think everyone's locked in, everyone's ready for that opportunity. And I remember, yeah, when, oh, wow, I'll be in the 18. I'm excited. I'm happy to be there. We'll see what happens with the opportunity. Obviously, it was what the game brings. And I remember when yeah, they called me over and said, "Hey, you're going in." I remember. I think at that time you locked in what's about to happen. How can I help? And yeah, I remember I was going in with Taimu, and we both look at each other and say, "Hey, let's see, let's help the team. We got a couple minutes. Let's just fill up, like give it all. Let's see what happens." And I remember looking at him. And yeah, we went in, and I just remember that when that play happened, and then they called a PK, he looked at me, and he was like this, and we said, "Oh yeah," and then and then the goal. I mean, the stadium, it was just such a great feeling. I think that's the main reason why we play, why people support us, because that's what the game's about. It's about finding ways to win, and celebrating with people that really support and appreciate you. So that moment was definitely special for the team, but for myself was, yeah, I will not forget that.
I considered you the best good luck charm in the world at that point, so it had to be you, right? Um, Want to talk on this backstretch of games. This team is getting into the hottest form it's been in all season. You've been working your way into more and more minutes back with this squad. Want to ask you, what has Coach Kano asked you to work on specifically in your game to continue to make meaningful contributions? And overall, what's the level of confidence of this locker room in, one, getting a playoff spot, and two, making it into a deep run into the playoffs?
As you mentioned, it's important at this time of the year to for all of us to know what we expect. I think as a team we have learned so much this year with the coaching staff has really focused on, okay, we're gonna take it step by step. We're not gonna jump into this or that. We're gonna take it as everything we need to, because that's the full goal. At the end of the year, to have the whole package complete. As we know what we want, we know how we could do it, and as everywhere, I think it's hard with, obviously we had different guys coming in and different things happening. We did, I would say, suffer a lot of injuries throughout the year, which made it hard with not having everyone and not know how things were. But again, it's part of the game. And so for me, just my conversation has always been, hey, you stay ready, and that's, I think that's what the game brings. Sometimes the game, um, one moment could really take you out, but just one moment could take you down. So it's part of the game. I think as a players, our mentality is to prepare, push everyone around us, but more than anything, be on the same page by this time of the year. Couple games left, and we're finding ways to win. We're getting and yeah, we obviously would love more goals, more things, but it's something that comes within the work we've put. It's been 9 months of a lot of training, a lot of tough moments as a team. But we have had faith and belief since the first moment that we could do something special. And if you have the belief, then things will come out at some point. So for us to know that we get the opportunities, we can last time at home of the year, our beautiful home, to represent it with our fans, with the people that believe in us. We're expecting and hoping for a nice crowd, and let's give them what they deserve. And yeah, let's get the last opportunity to get a win at home to look good in order to go to the last stretch.
I think about your career in the championship, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but you've made the playoffs every single year for obviously Pittsburgh because you played with them. You've never missed the playoffs, correct?
Yes, I never have.
So we can't let that happen now. I want to ask, is there any words of wisdom that you're sharing with the locker room about getting prepared for this, or is that too early and we're still at that taking it game by game mentality?
Yes, I think it's there's not really about that. I think right now it's about getting there with the right rhythm and momentum, and then we talk about it. So right now it's more of like just put in the work. The work that that we know we're putting, it's what will pay off. So it's more like day by day, training by training, is preparation for the game, and that's what we've always said. We make training so hard that the game is different, and it's more of a show for everyone that takes their time on a weekend and their families to come support us. So more like that, more of let's remember who we represent because it's not a couple people, it's not a couple families, it's a whole community that has been with us throughout the whole year and that have a lot, they deserve a lot with the way they have supported us and you know, and it's special to see that where it's a small state they say, but it's the amount of people that truly believe and support it is so special to see. And I think when there is that, we are able to find a way to win games. So
So I got to ask then, there's so much we've talked about you on the pitch this season and in your past, but I would maybe suggest that you've had equally or even a bigger year off the pitch in these last 18 months. What, you've been married, you've now had the birth of your first child. Walk us through what's it like becoming a husband and now a father in these last 18-ish months, I think is right.
yes, yes. No, I mean, it has been, I think, I've always thought of myself as someone who, okay, I believe, I work hard, I do this, do that, and I'll get results. And to now know that obviously with my wife, I have her support and now we're a team as well. It has been amazing. And with my little baby now 9 months old, his name is Lucas. Every day is a lesson. I get to enjoy with them. I get to share with them, and I mean to see him at the stadium and at the end of the game, just he looks at everyone singing, and the goal comes in. I have videos where he's just looking around. So that has been very special, obviously for me. The pitch and everything that happens on the field is important because it's obviously what we do, and to be have her support and his support and have them with me, I think it's very special. I'm so excited to for more time with them and yeah, it has been very, I'm very thankful for my family.
No, it should be exciting. Will there be baby's first trip to Colombia in this off season, or is that maybe another year from now?
No, most likely it's gonna be ready.
So then the real question is, I think it's you, Koke, and JJ are the ones that all have children. Who's shared the best practices for parenting amongst the three of you, and what's the best advice you've gotten or given to that group?
uh, so both of them, I mean, we do talk a lot, especially, I mean, with Koke, her daughter is 1 month older than mine, so it's very, very close in ages. And JJ, obviously, now with the second one, also has much more experience. I think it's more of moments where we're frozen. We hey this that, and then just the laughs we get out of oh, and what did you do? And then oh no, I did this. Oh, I did sort of like that, and so more just conversations that I think it's enjoyable. I think it's amazing that we get to share not only our job but some part of that with having babies and yeah, some of the coaching staff also have kids. So those conversations are always fun to have because I got some learning to do with it.
You're ever asking Kano and Spratty for not just tricks and tips on the pitch, but also just dad stuff as well?
Yeah, yeah, they helped me actually, yeah, as well with finding daycare and stuff. So it's things that, it makes things a little easier and yeah, and I'm excited for him to start walking so I can bring him to the stadium and be in the locker room and share with the guys as well.
Will there be a future Rovira playing soccer for Rhode Island FC maybe in 17 more years?
Would love that. Yes, yes. Hopefully he loves the game, enjoys it, and gets an opportunity to represent this beautiful team.
So I would ask you what your downtime looks like, but you said a second ago you got a chance to rest during your injury time. I don't know how with a newborn you were able to pull that off, but wrapping things up here, what's it like having spent this time now in Rhode Island? Do you have hobbies as a dad and as a father, or is all of your time given to the family at this point? What do you get to do when you're not playing soccer and not being a husband or a dad?
I really enjoy reading different books. I enjoy reading biographies. I think sometimes you learn a lot from people's experiences. And so yeah, I would say that. I would love reading. I love instruments. So I enjoy that. And yeah, now the rest of my time is for my son. I love taking him to the park. I think at home he just looks up and that's it. Outside he looks at people, he looks at planes, he gets to enjoy. So I love being outside with him and go for walks and picnics and enjoy that a lot.
Well, I look forward to finding out what instrument you play. I'm going to ask you that. We'll save that for
Yeah,
another
let's
interview at another point. Maybe get a
yes.
little serenade. We know Amos sings, so maybe we'll get a band together here
Oh.
by the end of the season.
Oh yes, yeah, I love music and some instruments, kind of relaxing and different things.
Excellent. Well, Danny, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on the show here and just share a little bit about your life and your journey through this wonderful world of soccer, or as you call it, football. And just really appreciate the time that you've been able to spend here for listeners to get to know more about you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me here. It's always nice to have a conversation, share more about my life and my time here. I'm very grateful for everyone that not only follows the team but supports us. I think we work hard every day to give them a happy smile at the end of the week, and we'll keep going through that. So thank you everyone that watches this and supports us.
We wish you luck for the rest of the season and a long and deep playoff run therein. Thank you so much, Danny. In the meantime, make sure to check out all of our friends over at the Blazing Musket for all of your New England soccer coverage, including Rhode Island FC news at theblazingmusket.com. Don't forget you can follow along with us on Twitter, Threads, and TikTok at RFC Podcast, the Instagram at Raising Anchor, and of course, our website, raisinganchorpodcast.com. Danny, anchors up, and good luck with the rest of the season.
Vamos, thank you so much, Matt. Take care.